Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Raising the Curtain, a Bloomington Normal Theater podcast with Ashleigh Raylan. Today, I am here with two cast members of Community Players Theater's production of Young Frankenstein. We have the incredible Scott Myers, who is very well known in the theater community, and Amanda Padgitt, who we have seen in quite a few things at Players in the last couple of years. How are you guys today?
Doing good.
Oh, fantastic.
Excellent. Amanda, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your theater background and how you found your way to Players?
Yeah, so my story is very different from most of the other people that you have interviewed so far. I am a literal community person who decided, why not? Let's try and see what happens if I audition for a show. So I've seen several shows at Community Players and had really enjoyed them. And several years ago, one of my friends started getting involved in doing shows around town, and she was really inspiring just how she, had a passion and wanted to try it out and was just doing really well with it. And then, so seeing her, perform in shows, and then also, I think it was the, what show was it? It was in 2019, I saw Wedding Singer. I saw that at Community Players. And, while I was there, the thought was just going through my head of just how much fun everyone was having on stage. And I laughed so much during that show. And so the thought started going through my head of, is this something that I could have fun doing on this stage? Is this even feasible for me? And so I think there was one night I couldn't sleep and thought, I might as well just see what's coming up. And I pulled up the Community Players website and I saw Big Fish was on the next season. And I, was scrolling through the cast description and I saw that they were looking for tap dancers. And I knew if I had any chance ever of getting cast in a show, it was going to be because of tap dance, because I had been taking an adult tap class for a few years at that point, and I tapped as a kid as well. So I decided, you know what, I am going to try this out. Let's just see what happens here. I think I only told 2 people I was auditioning. I was that sure I wasn't going to get cast.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, there's so much talent in this town. And, seeing it, at Community Players at the shows I'd been to and other groups as well. And Scott, you were the director for that show, and Ashleigh, you're one of the producers, and you must have seen something in me that was let's just give this random community person a chance. So
I love that.
I got cast in that show, and the rest has been history.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very full circle. Scott directed, I produced, Eli was the AD.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I didn't even notice that. So awesome. Well, Scott, let's flip it over to you. You are a longtime veteran of not only Community Players, but theater in this town in general. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I started out as a kid. No. But I will say that's where it happened for me, because I was one of those kids who loved to perform. If aunts and uncles were coming over, do a little puppet show, do a little lip sync or, whatever. And so that was in me from the very beginning. It's just part of my personality. But then I tried a little bit, 7th grade, Devil and Daniel Webster, I think that was called. I played Blackbeard, just a few lines there, but there it clicked. There it was. Jump ahead to freshman in high school. I went to Monticello High School, and we had a student theater because they didn't do musical theater. They only did straight plays, and a lot of the students wanted to have musical theater experience, right? And so we went ahead and formed, with permission by the administrator. We had to have a sponsor and lots of parents who would serve as, we'll attend rehearsals and all of that, but director, assistant director, all of it. Everything was all done by high school students. So that was awesome. And so I got to be Oliver in our production of Oliver. And the one who played Fagin, Jerry Giesler, ended up coming here. We both came together my freshman year in college at ISU. And they were going to put on 1776 at Community Players, and boy, did they need guys.
Oh, yeah.
And so Jerry knew somebody that was going to be in it, and he said, Scott, I know you would like this. And so I said, sure, and that's where it started with Community Players for me. And, of course, as well as friendships with Bruce, right?
Bruce Parrish,
all of those great people that many of them are still around. But that's where it clicked for me, and so any opportunity I had to be in a show. And it was mostly acting at the beginning, and it was fun. I remember one time I actually announced that my wife was pregnant with our firstborn at the end of Into the Woods. I was the baker.
Oh.
And there's this speech at kind of near the
Yeah.
end, and I stopped, not in a regular performance,
Well,
but
sure.
during dress rehearsal, and I said, I'm going to veer off the script a little bit, and I announced that we were expecting our child.
Aw.
So, those little moments of theater that happen here and there
Yeah.
are just great memories, and that's what it's all about.
That's awesome. I'm going to ask you a fun question really quick before we
Okay.
kind of really delve into Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
What was your audition song for 1776?
Oh, my word. We're really going back, aren't we? My word. If I remember correctly, it was a song from Pippin. Yeah. Pippin was the first Broadway album I ever got, and my brother gave it to me for my birthday. And I, really wasn't into musical theater that much. And boy, did I get hooked just listening to the soundtrack
Pippin's
of that
a great show.
And so I liked, the songs from that show a lot. And so Corner of the Sky is what I used. So there
Awesome.
you go.
And what was your audition song for Young Frankenstein?
The song that I auditioned for in regards to Young Frankenstein was They're Playing Our Song, from the show They're Playing Our Song.
Okay.
And it is the story of Marvin Hamlish and Carol Bayer Sager and how they got together. And Bruce Parrish directed that, and so I took that song, They're Playing Our Song, where they're in a restaurant and he hears the music that he helped write. And it's a little comic, fun song to do, and I thought that lends itself to the Young Frankenstein kind of style of it. And it was really fun to play Marvin Hamlish because basically I didn't have to have a special costuming or anything. I could just wear my own clothes the whole show. When does that happen?
Sometimes those are the best shows.
Yes,
like I
yes.
just get to waltz in my own jeans.
That's
it's
right.
great.
That's right. Yeah.
No, and I just happened to realize you two are actually the first people I have interviewed since we started the podcast for a musical, before a musical has actually opened. Because we interviewed we interviewed Bruce Parrish in the middle of Fiddler.
All right.
So that's kind of why I thought of that question. I was like, we haven't had two musical people yet on the show.
Yes.
Amanda, what was your audition song for the show?
I did Me in the Sky from Come From Away.
Great show.
Yeah, so
Excellent show.
The earlier part where she's talking about flying the dead bodies
Yeah.
and all of that. So, because I wanted to pick a song that had some humor in it.
Yeah.
And, clearly the end of the song is very serious.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that would not have been appropriate. But there was that perfect, minute cut at the beginning of that. And so that was what I did.
Awesome. So, Amanda, you are in the ensemble, and Scott, you are in the ensemble as well as playing, I hope I say this right, Dr. Victor
von
Frankenstein.
Victor von
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Yes.
von Frankenstein. There we go. Not Steen. That's the other one. So, how have rehearsals been? Like, what is like a typical community player's musical rehearsal?
Well, for me, and I'm sure everybody else, I use this word a lot when I talk about community players, and the word is fun. I'm telling you, because of the great mix that we have in our shows, we have people, it's like a reunion sometimes. I mean,
Yes,
we're
absolutely.
right now a reunion of a show or on the table.
5 years ago? 4 years ago?
But you maybe have been in a show with somebody and they kind of flutter away, and then they come back and be in a show, and it's like a
Yeah.
reunion. And then the new people, oh my word, the new people that come into players, you want them to have a positive experience for sure, but it's just natural. And I remember Amanda and I, we were at an audition tryout, and there was a gal that had never tried out. And she was very nervous. Do you remember that? She was very nervous, and she wasn't sure the whole process and what. And we got to talking. We were sitting next to her, and we were boosters and helping her out and
Hyping her
cheerleaders.
up.
Come on, you can
Yes.
do it, And she got in the show and had a great experience. So that's an example of, again, the new people that come our way, which I just love.
Awesome. What about for you, Amanda? Especially, I know you're featured dance as well, especially within the tap number. So what's your experience been
Yeah,
like?
so there's definitely, the tap number did involve a little bit more rehearsal than, maybe people that were not in that tap number. With this show, I would say probably one of many culture shocks I had, starting to do theater and not having grown up in that environment. I didn't realize at first when they asked, do you have availability Monday through Friday for 3 hours each night, that meant there's going to be rehearsal Monday through Friday, many times for 3 hours. And this show, I think, has done a good job of, not every night at the beginning. We were there that whole time. And so there were points where, they're working with smaller groups that I wasn't, that I maybe got to go home a little early or got to, come in a little bit late. So I think that helped a little bit there. But I feel like now I'm better prepared to come into that, like having that mindset that's, I'm going to be at rehearsal, that's going to, I'm going to be living the theater life for 6 weeks here. But I think things have gone pretty smoothly. We spent the first couple weeks going over the dance numbers and the music numbers and then putting everything together after that. We just did costumes for the first time last night. So trying to figure out, I've got a lot of costume changes at the very beginning of the show. So we got to still work out where I'm going to do those quick costume changes and all of that. We're adding in some wigs tonight, so we'll see how that goes. I've never worn a wig before in a show, so I'm excited for that.
It's a good time.
Yeah, and then, we'll have Tech Week next week, and we, will soon be open.
Exactly. So is this your first time working with director Marcia Weiss?
It is, working with her as a cast member. I did briefly interact with her. I did the show photos for Newsies.
That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
And I was actually just very shocked that, so I did the show photos, and then I think I helped that last weekend as an usher, and Marcia remembered me, and I thought that was impressive because, I'm this random person that's coming in with my camera, like not really like interacting that much, and she remembered, I think, my full name. And then again at the auditions, I think I had to remind her, I did photos for Newsies, and then she pulled out my full name. So yeah, this is my first time working with her.
Yeah, she's amazing. Scott, you've worked with Marcia quite a few times, haven't you?
Oh, she is a gem.
She's the nicest human being.
She is unbelievable. In fact, going back in time, I directed her before she directed me. She was my Wilbur the Pig the first time we did Charlotte's Web. And and we've been in a number of shows, and I think back to lots of the musicals that she loves doing with us. But she is so good at making everyone feel comfortable from the very beginning. She sees things not only through a director's eyes, but through the eyes of an actor.
And that's so important.
And crew member. Absolutely. Because
so
she really respected our time. We know now that we're in Tech Week, my word, it's going to be some late nights.
Yes.
But prior to that, if it was coming on to 9:30, she said, I know you're all tired. I know you want to get out of here. We'll give you notes another time. Go home. Just that kind of thing. And she sees, again, through the eyes of the actors. And I wanted to put a plug in here because I'm going to put a plug in for ensemble people. I had the joy and blessing. I'm so grateful to have a number of roles that were outside the ensemble in different shows. But when you are in an ensemble, it is so much, here we go with the word again, fun. But you wouldn't have a show without those ensemble people.
No, you would not.
They are so important. And they are there to kind of complete the picture. And so, yes, in the audience, you're focusing on whoever's singing or this particular scene that's going on. But I always tell people when I'm directing, too, that if you're on the ensemble, don't think you're not being seen by the audience.
No.
Because I scan. That's one thing I do when I go see a show. I'm just kind of looking around and seeing. And Marcia's been real good about promoting that from all of the ensemble members, that you are part of things. And I think we've been pretty good, from according to her, comments, that we really are trying to be in the scene at all times.
Excellent.
But without distracting, right?
Of course, there's always that fine line of,
yes,
you have to pull attention, but in a good way.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Don't take away from the scene that's happening. But if you're just standing back there, arms crossed, no emotion on your face, that's going to draw attention too.
So bravo to all the ensemble people out there. When I did Legally Blonde, I had 4 or 5 different characters as an ensemble member. And yes, I had a number of wigs and things. But it was so much, it just... it was great.
And honestly, sometimes I feel like, and obviously nothing to take away from people who put in the time and commitment to having solo songs and stuff.
Oh, sure.
But that ensemble, they they put in so much time to not only with those dance steps, learn all of those songs, sing backstage,
Yes.
Hype everybody up. I had a director once tell me, like, your leads are like the steak, but the steak is nothing without, like, the salt and pepper and the barbecue sauce and the potatoes and everything else that goes along with it.
And we have been blessed with young Frankenstein. I'm going to brag a little bit on the
Please
ensemble
do.
without
Yes.
me. I'm just talking about the ensemble, all of us, everyone. So strong. I'm telling you. In fact, I don't know if it was Marcia or someone else had mentioned that, quite honestly, we could have recast this show a number of times from the ensemble.
Yes.
That's how good the ensemble.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to stumble upon an understudy rehearsal here recently, and the young man who's playing Frederick's understudy, he was in My Jesus Christ Superstar.
Michael Baum.
Michael Braun. And to see how he has grown just within the last, like, 18 months of me knowing him is mind-blowing.
Yes.
And it's so incredible. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So, Scott, you've got the mic. Let's continue with you for a second.
Okay.
How is the musical similar and different from the film that everyone knows and loves, the Mel Brooks film with Gene Wilder?
Well, if you love the film, you're going to hear a number of lines and see some things that you say, yep, there it was. That's what I was looking for. That's what I'm watching for. And I had the pleasure of directing Elf. Mm-hmm. Again, adaptation from film to stage. And you don't want people who love that, they're coming to because they love that show, to say, oh, gosh, they didn't have this or they didn't do that. And I think that we have a great nod to the original. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people may not realize that Mel Brooks not only wrote the music, but he wrote the lyrics. He did both.
Yes, he
did. So, I mean, you talk about talent. And so he knows what people are looking for when they come see this stage production. And I think we do it. Now, there are a few fun surprises here and there that, of course, we can't tell you.
Don't want to give away too much.
No. But there are a couple places that'll be really fun for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Amanda, anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, I think that we covered that with Scott. I wish I knew the movie more than I do.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah,
honestly.
I only watched the movie after I heard that Young Frankenstein was announced for being in part of the Community Players season, and all I needed to know was that there was a tap number, and then I was hooked. But I did watch it, after they had announced it, just to see, what it was about, and found it very hilarious. But kind of those minute details. I wish I could comment more on those, but
do you have a favorite number in the show outside of the tap number?
Oh, man,
I know. She got so excited.
I know. I mean, that
one's down.
I know that's an obvious one. I would say I like Join the Family Business. That one. So that we get to play a little bit of a different character than the rest of the show during that one. For like singing, this one's backstage, but Life is a fun one to sing. Only the leads are on stage at that point, but I think the harmonies in that song are really good. And it was the first one that I figured out all of the harmony parts for. So every time there's like that first song that I've got, that always holds a special place for me there. So I'd probably say, and I mean, again, yes, the tap number is of course my other favorite. So
I know I'm a sucker for tap too. How many people do you guys have ballpark that are in the show?
Our ensemble is about 22, I think. And then you add the main characters, which are, 7.
Seven, so. Give or take.
Give or take, yes.
And some of our staff members that I would like to give a shout out to, at least. Obviously, Marcia Weiss, our director. I say our like I'm involved.
That's okay. That's all right.
The director. From what I've seen, Carrie Ann Dixon is back as our set designer. Always does elaborate, really gorgeous sets. Jen Bethman on props, which I know this is a super prop heavy show.
Yes.
Morgan Rondinelli as the choreographer. I'm sure I'm forgetting some people, but that's what.
Ben Sims
there we go.
And Jessica Sheets are musically directing this particular show, which is great. Ben really zooms in a lot, helping our soloist, and as well as the ensemble. But then Jessica really helps out with that. And of course, Zoe Mundy is our assistant director, and really adds so much because especially musicals, but any show, to have another set of eyes,
Yes.
and to notice some things and give suggestions and be part of that is just great. So
Absolutely.
you're right. I was hoping we didn't leave anybody out in regards to that. We mentioned Morgan, Mark Wright on the lights.
Mark right on the lights.
Trey Campbell and Tom Smith and Martha Smith are kind of producing for this particular show, and
Trio
producers
producing.
are very, very important. And one quick little note on Carrie, bless her heart. I was there when it happened. We were beginning the set work, and done on a Saturday or whatever. And she comes in from Iowa. She
Yes,
drives
she
in,
drives down.
and so we're starting to, and we have to get some of the wood out and things like that. So we're back in the wood pile of the shop, and she got her finger jammed, like
Ew.
with a piece of plywood, like really big, thick, and at the time, that hurts, kind of thing.
Right.
She broke. Okay.
She broke her
She
finger?
broke her finger, and I think she said it was kind of like in 3 different little places, and she's like, well, we're just starting to work, so we really needed to all hands on deck,
Yeah.
no pun intended, to really help out, and people that are involved in the show, help out, paint and help with set and do lots of different things rather than just be on the stage, But bless her heart, she's a trooper from.
She is.
My word,
She
just
is.
outstanding. So we got a great set coming your way.
There you go. And Opal Virtue's costuming.
Oh yes,
We
yes,
can't
yes,
forget
yes.
Opal.
Oh my, yes, absolutely.
Sorry, Opal. And then, so just from what I've heard from Eli, since Eli is running sound, I've heard that there is a lot of music in this show. I know we had kind of touched base on Ben and Jessica, but I've heard there's like an underscore pretty much like the whole time or something like that, and everything is very timed out with set pieces and everything like that.
Yes, when you go to a movie, right? How important is the sound?
Yeah.
The musical background is so important, and it blends itself very nicely to this show. Of course, it's suspenseful. Suspenseful at times, but also just to kind of help set the mood a little bit. And it does. You want the show to keep moving, right? Keep moving. And you don't want those dead spots where it's just silent, nothing's happening, and everyone's just kind of waiting. And so they do a nice job, everybody, to work on this one to keep it moving. And the music helps. Those interludes and transitions helps it greatly.
Awesome. Amanda, you want to talk a little bit about how people can come see the show and where they can buy tickets and when we're running?
Yes. So we have the Pay What You Can night next Thursday. I believe that's March 7th. And then on Friday, Saturday at 7:30, starting March 8th and 9th. And Sunday, March 10th at 2:30. And then the next 2 weekends after that, the 15th through 17th and 22nd through 24th.
Perfect. And yep, same as normal community players times. Evening shows 7:30, doors open at 7, and then Sunday matinees 2:30, doors open at 2. So we've talked a lot about Young Frankenstein, but let me ask you guys, do you have a favorite musical?
I do, and I feel like it's a very basic answer.
I support that.
But my favorite musical is Rent. I mean, the movie came out when I was in college, and I've seen the show live so many times, including the Community Players version. I think that was the first show I saw at Community Players.
Oh, excellent.
And I remember coming back from it being like, this is just as good as some of the other, touring shows I had seen. But I mean, with, my group of friends in college, we would, listen to the soundtrack all the time. So it just, there's a lot of nostalgia with it too. So yeah, I don't think that's ever going to be unseated as my favorite show.
Fair enough. What about you, Scott?
Finding Neverland, which a lot of people
Yes.
are not familiar with necessarily.
That's a great show.
But it is a great show, and I have a heart for the family shows. We have Mary Poppins coming
Yes.
up. But those family shows, and in the process of mentioning family shows, I have to kind of give a little alert to Young Frankenstein. For those of you who are listening that might have young children,
Yes.
We know this is going to be slightly irreverent, but it's good-natured humor, but might not be suitable for young children. We do encourage parents to kind of use their judgment based on their own research of the show or their own sensibilities, and of course the child's age and maturity level. But kind of recommended for ages 13 and up. because of the adult themes and language. There's no official rating system, of course
not.
for live theater, but kind of a heads up on that so people are aware.
No, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that because I probably would have forgot. Well, thank you both so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Scott, I know you're an avid listener of the podcast, and I appreciate
I am a big
it.
fan.
I know me and Amanda were talking a couple days ago. She's listened to a few episodes, so to all your friends. But everyone go see Young Frankenstein. It's going to be a good time. And then keep your ears, I guess this is a podcast. Keep your ears open. We will hopefully be having a representative from I Hate Hamlet, which is the show coming up.
Auditions are March 11th and 12th. And then after that, Mary Poppins, those auditions are May 20th, 21, and 22. And so you've got a show coming up. I Hate Hamlet will be in May. And, of course, Mary Poppins, our summer show in July.
Yeah. So everyone make sure to come see Young Frankenstein. Come audition for shows at Community Players. Obviously, it keeps people coming back. Amanda's been involved since 2019. Scott, when was 1776?
1976.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
So Scott's been around for a little bit. Played some great roles. I always go back to Edna Turnblad.
Yes, one of my favorite roles.
Right? So,
yes.
All right. Well, I'm blabbering now because I just like talking with Scott and Amanda. But thank you both so much, and we will see you at Young Frankenstein. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.